It's the best and worst DLCs of the year. What DSP felt were the best and worst downloadable contents that he actually played in 2014. For this entry, it's very unique and interesting because both my best and worst are going to be from the same game, but two different DLC episodic releases. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to return to the grinding, repetitive, challenging, fear and cringe-inducing, rage-causing world of Dark Souls 2. And not to say that that's a bad thing, because I really did enjoy this game. Dark Souls 2 had 3 unique DLC episodes released over the course of 2014 that took you to some pretty unique and different locations throughout the universe. Some of them being very climate controlled, some of them being more towards a certain theme, as we're about to see. Now, unlike the other entries, in this case, we're actually going to talk about the better entry first, and you're going to see why in a moment, so let's get to it. For the first entry, I submit the best DLC from Dark Souls 2 in my opinion, The Crown of the Sunken King. In The Crown of the Sunken King, you basically descend into an underground cavernous world. There's several different places for you to go between, and the second that you walk into it, you immediately run into a giant fear-inducing dragon. Pretty neat. Of course, the game and DLC really just encompass what Dark Souls 2 is all about. Cheap instant deaths, danger around every corner. You never know what's lurking around the next bend. If there may be another cheap instant fall or something, you'll walk yourself into dead ends and have to restart and lose all your souls. But that's par for the course. The things that I really enjoyed about this DLC is that even though it is all underground, the locations vary greatly. Whether you're in this big cavernous temple-like city, whether you're in this underground swamp with these giant mouth monsters, you're maybe fighting some unique bosses like this one where you're actually fighting 3 human-like opponents, and of course the grand finale when you finally come face to face with that dragon from the very beginning of the DLC for an epic showdown. It all turns out to be a really unique and complete package. By the end you feel, man, that was very challenging, but that was also very, very, very rewarding to get through it and feel like you accomplished something by killing that final dragon. Really well done, and I definitely enjoyed it. Now let's compare that with my entry for one of the worst DLCs of the year, and definitely in my opinion the worst DLC from Dark Souls 2, Crown of the Old Iron King. The difference here: number 1, the entire DLC takes place within a single tower. Yes, I understand that the theme of the DLC is that you're in some kind of an iron forge, but I'd like to see some variety. There really isn't much in this DLC. You're just going up and down the floors of this tower, going in and out of different passageways, fighting different really cheap things and bosses, etc. One of the things that really pissed me off about this DLC was that they reused one of the most difficult, rage-inducing bosses of the original game, the Smelter Demon. But this time, they took away all of his weaknesses and actually tweaked it so magic is completely ineffective against him. Keep in mind that he was infamously one of the most annoying bosses in the original game, so much so that he was an optional boss you never actually had to beat to complete the game, and most people found abusive ways to beat him involving magic. Having to completely relearn this boss fight from the start is incredibly annoying. In addition, this DLC introduced a nerf aspect to my character that basically made his combat style completely inefficient. So in order to even beat this Smelter Demon, I had to respec my character from the ground up. That's fucking annoying if you're a person who played a certain style of gameplay for the entire game, and now you're forced to completely relearn it because the game devs felt like they wanted to rebalance it for whatever fucking reason. Quite honestly, just very underwhelming. The bosses in this, some being reused, others just being humanoid kind of annoying, not original bosses, and just not very good. Compared to the other one, the Sunken King, not a lot of originality, not a lot of fun, and I don't know what they were thinking. It's like maybe they thought, gee, we have 3 DLCs, we need to kind of phone one in, and the other 2 will be pretty decent. This one, by far the worst of the 3, definitely the one to skip if you have to choose between the 3, and I just did not enjoy it at all. I'm sure there are many who will disagree with me, but that's my personal opinion. Alright, this is it. Coming up next, it's going to be my personal pick for my favorite DLC of 2014. Is it the same as yours? Find out soon.